There we go. Welcome to the Elbow Drop Podcast. Today, as y'all can see, there's no Beast Mode Bones. Know where you at, Bones?
Yeah.
What you doing, man?
Feels much
You
better.
supposed to be on. You supposed to be on here.
He's on vacation, man.
This is actually going to
Let
be
him enjoy his life. Let him enjoy his life.
They always go on vacation on me when it's time to talk AEW. They're strategic with it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But over to I'll be having to get these directions right. Over to my right, we have Ted. What's going on, Ted?
What's up, man?
Down below me, we have Loveless. What's good, Loveless?
So what's up?
Welcome back. Welcome back. And now, I hope you. First of all, I hope Loveless don't fuck around and make us lose viewers, man. He's infamous in the group. Folks gonna see Loveless face and be like, look, we already lost a viewer. We already lost a viewer because of Loveless, man. But over down here in the corner, down here, we have the king of lists, self-proclaimed, of course, Randy Weber.
Right. Crowned and certified, knighted. How are y'all doing?
What's going on? What's going on, man? We are all right. And I am your host, Big Ice, the Iceman, Bobby Miller. Catch me on the BWO promo division, tearing motherfuckers up verbally. Pause. No diddy. But you know how we do. So this weekend we had two premium live events for two different wrestling companies, and we're going to talk a little bit about both of them. But first, you know we got the king of lists. He's back this week. We wasn't going to do his list without him. So he came up with a top 32 list of the greatest tag teams of all time. We put it in tournament format based on the way that he seeded them. And before we get into this tournament, I got one gripe before we get into the tournament, man.
Oh, let's go.
How does FTR not make the cut?
Okay, this is the reason why FTR doesn't make the cut. I was debating really hard. I put them in the list of honorable mentions. I think that it depends on what you're basing it mainly off of. If you're basing it off of their in-ring work, they're one of the best tag teams of all time. That being said, they won tag team titles in WWE, but it was also at the point where tag team titles were basically meaningless. They won tag team titles in AEW, but most of them were also meaningless. They won the meaningless ROH tag titles that are basically developmental titles the way they treat it.
You are shitting on these guys' accomplishments. Holy fuck.
You really
They won
are.
like the most prestigious tag team
They won
you can win.
one
It wasn't
team.
important. No, I'm just laughing. I'm just
No.
Just
The
funny
only
to-
tag team
Like,
title
real
that they really
talk.
won that had prestige was the AEW tag team titles in terms of the way that they've been presented. I think
gotcha.
So
I think
fuck
by
the
the time
NXT tag
FTR
titles, huh?
by the time the FTR finishes their career, I will almost definitely put them higher. I just don't know if they've accomplished more than the other teams.
Nigga, he replacing you. You supposed to be here. The show got to keep going. I told y'all. Loveless does what the hell he want. I told y'all before. I send Loveless a link to this damn podcast every week, low key. He just decides when he wants to come on.
I'm on vacation, so I'm Oh, Ethan Page came to NXT? That's what's up.
Said Bones wasting time and space.
Come on, Bones, we meet,
But
brother.
yeah, I disagree with that. I feel like those accolades did happen, and they found a way to make a name for themselves across all these companies, whether it's WWE down in NXT, in AEW, AAA, New Japan, wherever else they went, they were always a big deal, and they were treated as a big deal. I don't think there's 32 tag teams, and their match quality speaks for itself. That has to be a factor somewhere in all this.
I'm not disagreeing really strongly. Like right now, number 32, I have the Eliminators. I could swap those two in theory. I could be convinced to swap them. I think that FTR will probably eclipse them by the time they retire. I'm just not sure if they've done it yet.
The Eliminators, remind me who that is.
That's what I'm googling.
Saturn and Kronos, they were the ECW tag team.
Oh,
Hold on. FTR isn't.
Oh, okay. I know who that is. Yeah, I'm definitely putting FTR over them. I had to be reminded.
They were the dominant tag team in ECW. They were the premier tag team. Like, because the Dudleys were mostly a faction, so they were their top tag team.
30 Dudleys.
It's like but 30. Where else did they
Dudley.
have success? Where else did they do something in?
Well, that had a lot to do with Kronos' drug issues.
You know what? No, I'm not. No. Forget that I said that for reasons.
Hall was an alcoholic.
Forget that I said that for reasons. Forget that I said that for reasons. I'm not even going to use that argument. You right. You right. Four Corner Boys have been in these comments for the last few weeks now.
Hello, Four Corner Boys. What's up, guys?
Sign Guy Dudley. All right. So with that being said, that was the only gripe that I had that I saw immediately in the honorable mentions. We're gonna do this list for a couple weeks, man. If I notice anything else that I missed in those honorable mentions, I'm gonna say something. But we're gonna start off with this list because we got a lot to talk about.
You know what? It's not too late to edit. I think you're right. I think you've convinced me. We can take the Eliminators out and we can put FTR in at the 32 spot.
All right. With that being said, let's start with that spot. which they're about to get eliminated anyway, so it don't matter. We have FTR at the 32 seed versus your number 1 seed, the Legion of Doom, the Road Warriors.
Road Warriors.
That's a little too high for Legion of Doom.
That's debatable. We'll get to that in the coming weeks. That's debatable. Mm-hmm. I will say that I had the Road Warriors as my greatest tag team of all time for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
In my life. For a long time in my life.
Okay.
Is it still?
I've debated with myself. Some days they are. Some days there are a couple tag teams that I say are better. I go back and forth a lot.
When I came into wrestling, Legion of Doom was on WWE, and I think Draw was in
that's when it got real corny.
I forgot who's off the Titantron. I forgot who that was.
That was Draws and Heidenreich. Heidenreich was in the
that was
those my only memories of Legion of Doom. So I can't really.
Wow. Yeah.
That's not the way to remember Legion.
Right.
It's like I remember like Hawk went into Japan for like a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like he was with a Japanese animal. I don't know if that was his name or it's like he was just with a dude that looked like Animal but was Japanese. He just replaced his ass. I was like, that's kind of corny.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Road Warrior Pop, I mean.
Yeah, it's called that.
They named a pop after these dudes. I get why they're
definitely.
There's really only one tag team on this list or ever that compares to them in terms of drawing power. And that team wasn't even a team for nearly as long as them. So, yeah, I mean, Legion of Doom.
You got to be careful.
Like Hulk Hogan's and them did.
Yeah, that's a lot. Because I was about to say you got to be careful when talking about these tag teams and drawing and stuff, because how often in history were tag teams really draws for real?
Well, no, that's
like
actually the fact that a couple of teams were draws on the same level as main event single stars is the reason why they're so far at the top. I know you're going to have an issue with one of them, number 5, and number 5 are the biggest drawing tag team in history.
When I was a
main eventing tag team in history.
When I was a little kid, I was all about tag teams. Like when I was younger,
mm-hmm.
I was I liked the heavyweight champ, but it was all about the tag teams because I had a cousin, like my brothers and cousins and shit. We used to like pretend to be the tag team. instead of one-on-one. So I was like, I don't know, man. I think
it's a lost art.
It's for different. It's like for different folks, man. What you want to watch, man. I personally like tag team wrestling.
I was big on tag teams. When I was a kid, it was tag teams, and it was a hardcore title. We used to go
next week when Bones is back, I'm gonna work on getting the whole list or at least the whole bracket up for everybody, so everybody can see the full list or the full bracket, however we want to put it up. I'm gonna get that together next week. This tournament is gonna span over episodes. So with that being said, we all rolling with Legion of Doom over FTR.
Even with draws, even with Hydra, even with them dudes,
even with draws.
All right, next
Doom had meat, so yeah, you gotta go there.
Chill, dude. All right, so the next one we have the number 17 seeded Assassin, the Mask Assassins, versus the number 16 seeded Outsiders, Hall and Kevin Nash.
I'm gonna say I'm a WCW mark. I'm gonna say Hall and Nash because I don't know who those other guys are.
Yeah, me too.
The Mask Assassins are an old school tag team. I've heard of them.
Yeah, they were like 12-time champions in Mid-Atlantic. They were huge at the time. But yeah, I mean, I put the Outsiders over them. But
the Outsiders, when they came up into WCW, they changed.
Those guys were so
that was
over.
The prelude of changing wrestling.
They were so over. They didn't have to wrestle. They were so fucking over.
Yeah, you can say that.
The reason they're not higher is the same reason that I didn't put Hulk Hogan higher in the WWE list. Well, actually, that I wouldn't put Hulk Hogan in a top, like as high in a top wrestler list because they were all responsible for sinking the company that they were a part of. And that has to be factored into it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah,
they were a big part of it.
It's a lot.
I would say
that documentary comes out because, like, I think that's like the rumor that goes around they sank it, but it has to be more powers that be to actually sank it in that sense.
No, I heard they weren't alone. They were all a part of it. NWO encompassing everybody, nothing ever having clean finishes, their contracts, and how much of a detriment their contracts were to the company.
Iconic. Know who I am, but you don't know why I'm here. Everybody remembers that line.
Iconic, man.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do two more. I'm gonna do two more, so we can go on to the pay-per-views. Number 9 seed Midnight Express versus number 24 seed Rockers. Marty Jannetty and Shawn Michaels versus the Midnight Express.
Midnight Express were around a lot longer, and they had more success than the Rockers did. So
Midnight was legendary. One of the top tag teams and one of the best eras of tag teams. I mean, gotta go with them. Rockers never even officially won the tag titles over there in WWE.
It's like a typical WWF like tag team. They're only together for a little bit.
Right. Yeah, the most important thing the Rockers ever did was break up. But
make Shawn Michaels. That's
what happened. Breakup. It set the tone of how to break up a tag team.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Yeah, they were
right.
We gotta keep doing this, guys.
Yeah, they were the cornerstone of a tag team.
Yeah, we gotta keep breaking them up.
And they were really influential. Teams like the Hardy Boys and the Young Bucks and all of that definitely did take a lot of things from their style, which did also come in part from the Rock and Roll Express.
I was about to say that was kind of the aesthetic of like all the tag teams back then.
Like
Billy Gunn it is the famous from the Rocker Dropper. When got like the Rocker Dropper.
So.
Yeah. So they went through in their time.
True. They were that deal. I ain't gonna take much away from them. In the last round we're gonna do so we can get into this other stuff. The Funk Brothers versus, which is the 25 seed versus the 8 seeded Fabulous Kangaroos.
Well, don't know who the Kangaroos.
Y'all got to know who the Kangaroos were. They were. Go and look up a company that was around between the 50s and the 70s and look at who their longest reigning champion is. There's a good chance that it's the Kangaroos for like all of them. Like they were that big.
The Fabulous Kangaroos, Al Costello, Roy Heffernan.
Let me look it up.
I don't know, man. I might have to go to Funk Brothers with that one, man. The Funk Brothers were
because of Terry
and Dory.
Yeah, but a lot of their success was as singles. They were a very successful tag team. That's why they're here. But the Kangaroos were like the successful tag team for like basically 2 decades.
1957 until 1983.
Yeah, they were huge.
Like right before I was born.
Okay.
Yeah, Mid-Atlantic. I'm pretty sure they were their longest reigning tag champions. I think in the NWA Florida version, they were their longest tag team champions. Held it like just go look through their championships and their accolades.
Yeah, I see, yeah, that's everything.
You know what? I'm gonna go to Fabulous Kangaroos just so they can be around whenever Bones is back, so I can hear him shit on them.
I'm down with that. I'm okay with that.
WWE.
And
I was gonna say
ignorant. And
the Funk Brothers, just because there's a. I was gonna say the Funk Brothers.
And plus, the Funk Brothers don't have enough for me to argue against what all the Kangaroos did. So I'm not gonna try.
I feel like I don't have a dog in that fight. So I'm not gonna. Yeah.
Yeah, the Funk Brothers ain't got a dog in the fight.
I just
look
like
at them side to side.
Yeah, if you look at their accomplishments alone, I can say that.
Yeah.
Well, the Kangaroos are Hall of Famers, so and NWA Hall of Fame, though that is. So.
Yeah,
Funk Brothers got a cool name though. Got a way cool.
The Funk
man, you can't deny that shit. There's a band called the Funk Brothers.
That's true. That's
Motown first round upset. Really based on his seed, and it's not an upset. It's
the Kangaroos also had a lot of
He had the Kangaroos up pretty high.
Yeah,
higher than I would have put them, but
they were also they
might be number one. Look at all these goddamn accomplishments.
They have a lot.
Should have been one. What the fuck is this?
Oh, they have 3 Hall of Fame inductions. Okay, class of '96.
Trust me, the next couple weeks is when I'm gonna have some real issues with the seed numbers, with the some of these that's coming up next week. But we're gonna move on from the tournament, and we're gonna talk about the Queen and the King of the Ring, which turned out to be a really good PPE. As I pull up my notes,
real quick, favorite match of the night.
Favorite match of the night.
King of the Ring.
The Intercontinental Championship match.
Oh, for real?
I'm gonna say
we were shitting on that match too. That's dope. We were shitting on that shit too. Like, what the hell is that? Yo,
Nia Jax.
Really?
That was a good one. That powerbomb sit Yoko shit jam. That finish was crazy.
Yeah, that finish
was fucking crazy. I was like, what the hell just happened, bro?
Because like the SmackDown women's division is kind of bland right now. I don't know. They're not giving Bayley her just dues, and I feel like they can elevate it.
Yeah,
I feel like Bayley is overrated anyway. So I mean, this is kind of
stop being a hater, bro.
I'm not being a hater. I'm just saying.
You just missed the hug. You missed the hugger.
Yeah,
that's when I hated her.
Oh,
the most.
That was her best.
Lisa Hill run made me tolerable of her.
She probably made so much money selling that merch, man. Yeah, little kids. I bet you she misses it.
Yeah.
All right, so
I didn't like the decision to make Nia Jax the Queen of the Ring. I didn't think that was a good move. I think
really.
I still think that Bianca should have beaten her and then beaten Lyra. I know that she's the tag team champion. I get it, but people are going to care a lot more to see Bianca versus Bayley than Bayley versus Nia Jax for a title. Bianca's a much bigger star. And 2, there's already a built-in story because Bianca was the only one that didn't forgive Bayley when she turned face.
Okay, we'll get to that. We'll get to that when we get to that. Let's
Nia's turn, man. Let Nia have it, please.
We'll talk about
I want her to sit on everybody, bro.
Gonna be good. Like
I want her to sit on.
Let's talk about it when we get to that match. Let's start at the top. Speaking of Bianca, did y'all watch the pre-show match Bianca and Jade versus Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell?
Jade looked clean in it. Yeah, I did.
It was exactly what it should be. Like it was, them looking.
It was straight.
Strong.
Got you ready for the show? I didn't get to see it.
Yeah, I like overall. If I had to rate the match, I'll give it about a 6 or 7 or something like that. But not in a bad way. It's just what it needed to be. They didn't need to have a 5-star match against Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell.
Right. Exactly.
It was more so story for Indy Hartwell and and Candice progression as a heel, I guess.
Right. Moving on, we had the Women's World Championship between Becky Lynch and Liv Morgan. What y'all think about that match?
I thought it was a good match. I think they worked out together really well. The surprise ending of Dom being involved, I think really sold it. Yes. I thought it was really solid. And it was one where it could have gone either way. I don't think that it was obvious that Liv was going to win.
It was obvious to me.
No,
I thought
the hot potato era with title belts was over with, and it's like Becky, Liv, how they transitioned those titles. It just like that was a shock.
It wasn't a shock to me because I felt that all of this was an audible anyway. When they got and I mentioned this on the podcast last week. I felt like all of it was an audible because of what happened with Rhea Ripley. And when they did that little tournament or whatever they did, it was just to basically put it on the safe person. And Becky Lynch was the safe person. She was the already established star.
Yeah.
And they kind of wanted to see how we would kind of warm up to this new Liv character, this story or whatever, and kind of tell that a little bit, which is what they're trying to do.
That's true. The reason why I didn't think it was necessarily obvious is because I figured they were probably eventually going to build to Liv versus Rhea, but I didn't know if Becky's first defense was going to be the one where they do it, because they usually don't do that.
They usually don't.
Yeah.
You're right. I see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Well, the big giveaway, Becky Lynch contract being up, and I say, okay, if it's up, she's gonna have to drop this title. And when she drops, I guess her contract is going up. So
I didn't know.
We'll see what happens with that. I don't think she's gonna leave.
Yeah, no.
But
she might take a break, but she ain't gonna leave.
Yeah, exactly.
But what y'all rate that match out of 10?
I give it a 7.
Yeah, I say like 7.5ish. I was kind of surprised that Liv won.
For real?
Because they really fed into what the fans said. Oh, Liv's gonna mess around with Dom. Like usually we get like some kind of swerve, but they made it too obvious and they just fed into it. So
yeah,
sometimes that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when the story makes sense,
That's true. And I agree. I'm fine with that. I'm a little like with like the whole Liv kissing Dom thing. It's getting a little soap opera-ish for me. I don't really like
old 90s wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's a good story. It makes sense. I'm not sure how much I care about the love angle aspect of it.
I fucks with it. It was kind of what they were doing subtly with Rhea and Dom anyway, so we kind of know how that's playing out.
With Liv and Dom, and it also showed there will be tension with Judgment Day, and I guess my heart is gonna be broken when Judgment Day breaks up. I love that thing, but
I watched like a lot of my wrestling shit on YouTube, and, and I saw this clip where like Liv and Dom a lot in the background, just walking out of the same room together, and like Liv and Finn Balor walking out the same car together. And like they show it in the background, everything's intentional when you see something on TV.
Yeah.
And like on her Instagram, she had like Dom's purple bandana in her pocket. So I kind of knew that was gonna happen.
Hunter's really good at that.
Yeah.
He's really good at like planting those seeds that don't feel too obvious.
Yeah, so I kind of knew it was gonna happen, but like I wouldn't have noticed it if it wasn't for those YouTube videos. So I really appreciated it that it all paid off.
Yeah, people in the group was talking about it a lot, so people was noticing it.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I give it an 8, honestly, because it paid off for paying attention to like the past shits, and the match was all right, but
I'll give it about a I'll go 8. Y'all people need to start putting respect on Liv's name, man.
Yeah, and I like it when belts switch hands.
Yeah,
me too.
Yeah,
I don't like the title range no more. Like I feel like at the Roman, the title.
Yeah, I think
not everybody's Roman, bro. Roman can do it, but no, not everybody can.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like
no title range, 6 months minimum.
Also, Bobby, I agree with you. I think this is Liv's best work so far.
Yes, sir. Next match, WWE Intercontinental Championship match: Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable versus Bronson Reed. This match was a banger to me. This match was an absolute banger. Everybody played their roles well. It was a bunch of interesting spots. I love that triple German suplex spot that they did with Gable. That shit was fire.
Chad Gable was a man, dude.
They be
He's
made
the fucking
yeah.
man,
Chad
dude.
Gable's a
Strong
beast.
little man.
Yo, that dude
Chad
is like
Gable is
Kurt
a
Angle and
beast.
like
Yeah.
Wolverine combined.
I like the story. I like the story that they was telling with him and Otis, and that's playing out. So they had that story playing into the finish. They did a lot of storytelling in that match.
Yeah, I want to point something out. The
What's
Liv
that?
story and the Chad Gable story are almost the same story. If you haven't noticed, they were the ones that everybody wanted to be the one to beat the champion. Like they were good guys. They were the ones who were supposed to be the ones that dethroned the champion for because of past stories with them. They went with a safer choice instead. The fans gave them backlash, and then they turned heel. It's the same progression for both of them. I don't think
that's kind of reachy. I see,
and
what
they're
you're
both
to say,
short.
That's kind of reaching to me.
It's a little man complex. I'm angry. My turn.
I say that because folks ain't
for the story.
And I say that because folks are more 50-50 on Liv. Dare I say 60-40 against Liv.
He'll win him over.
Yeah, but they were a vocal enough minority that clearly led to, I don't think they were originally going to have Liv be the champion. I think they did that because of the reaction that people had to Becky winning it over her when the story with Liv and Rhea makes more sense.
The comments on Instagram about Becky winning, Becky Hogan, and all that stuff, it was kind of getting she need to go away and be appreciated. She one of those crickets. Sometimes it's good to go away. You don't got
to. She'll come back
like
and
Charlotte,
be the one.
She's like Charlotte status now. She's not. She shouldn't be out every week.
Yeah, true. Exactly. She's above that now.
She's an attraction.
I think so too. Maybe put her in the tag team division for a minute or something. Like,
man, so they get bodied by Belair.
You know what would be a good story? Becky Lynch and Elia Valkyrie against Jade and Bianca for SummerSlam. They're both
these racist ass stories.
You'd have to have Bianca and Jade kill them in order to
Jade
push Jade.
Right.
Those little ass white girls ain't do shit.
Yeah, this is the reason why they need a women's mid-card belt too, in my opinion. That's another topic for another day. A women's mid-card belt, a women's intercontinental something.
Oh,
you don't want to get into too many belts.
Women's division just should have been
it wouldn't be too many though.
And like all the women titles women should not be drafted in the draft. They all should just be like all over the place. NXT, all SmackDown.
I thought about that at one point, especially when the women's division was more scarce. When they barely had anybody.
Like they'd have one show, or they'd all be on either Raw or SmackDown, is what you mean?
Yeah, I think that would have been better because they're
interchangeable.
Like, they're so thin. It's like you go on the roster, pays like 10 women to a roster. It's just like
Natalia's gonna get beat everywhere, dude. And Natalya will get beat on every single show.
And you only have like a handful of them that can be a champion, right? Like so many of them are like so dead, like they're preliminary. Then you have maybe like 8 who are like championship worthy. I think that makes more sense. I'm always a fan of less titles instead of more. I think basically you should have like one world singles title, one women's title, and one tag title. If you have to have an inter title, like intercontinental or whatever, then make there a logical reason for it existing, because that doesn't, there's no sport where you're good but not that good title exists. Like you're either the best or you're not, and that's what makes you have the title. So I'm always a fan of less titles rather than more, because I feel like the more titles you have, the less value each of them has.
I feel what you're saying, but also the more titles is good based on how WWE books, because they book a lot of everything around the titles. And if you're not fighting for the titles, they have a hard time booking feuds that matter without the titles. So if you're gonna book that way, then you might as well get those mid-card titles and have those ladies something to fight for at least.
I think I also and I know that they don't do this, but I think this would be a good way to accomplish that if they did weight classes where they had more titles, but only people of a specific weight range can fight for them. That way,
I don't like that because
you can have the smaller guys.
205 live didn't the cruiserweight
No guy
belt didn't work out.
win a WWE title, so I think that's a good idea.
But that's
Japan.
because
Japan
Live
shit
was
does
treated
that,
as
right?
like an under show. Like if you put people like, I don't know, Sami Zayn and Chad Gable and Seth Rollins, who are stars in that division, it would feel like a bigger deal.
Japan does that, right?
Yeah, they do. They have juniors, and it's not treated as the exact same as the heavyweight, but it is prestigious.
But those juniors also go for the bigger title, though.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't think they should. I think they should have to fight for their division's title, like in UFC or boxing or whatever.
I don't like that because it also limits people and it limits stories.
If we had wrestling had a bigger roster, that would make more sense. But
maybe
roster is like they don't have a consistent roster with UFC and boxing. You know what I'm saying? It's like so they utilize the Forbidden Door rule. That would be good if all wrestlers came together and they all work together. That would be good. Since they all
that would be cool too.
That won't work.
Okay.
All right, back on subject about the Intercontinental Championship match. What grade would y'all give that? I'll give it a 9. I like it.
I would give it probably an 8.
I'm gonna say 8 because I don't like Sammy as champion. I'm
Come on, man,
bro.
I said, what you got
there? You leave him alone.
Dang, man.
What you give it, Ted?
I give it an 8, but it's like, damn. Well, you don't like Sammy, bro?
Nobody does like
Sammy. Beat Gunther. It doesn't make sense to me. Like I'm still like mad he beat Gunther. So I get over it.
Speaking of Gunther, we got the King of the Ring final. Gunther versus Randy Orton. King Gunther. The King General.
Okay. So I thought this match was really good. The actual in-ring stuff I thought was really good. But a couple of problems. One, Randy works such a slow style. I feel like it also limited how impactful Gunther could be.
Yep.
Also, why would you protect Randy Orton in this? Why would you have a BS finish for Gunther?
I thought about
let
that.
Gunther look dominant. Like Randy Orton doesn't need to be protected. Why does he need to get a cheap win? I think that almost ruined it for me.
That I agree. That hurt it for me too because Gunther ain't. Maybe I missed some matches. If I know some of the other guys they was on here, they'd probably correct me, but I don't remember seeing Gunther win in any cheap ways, any roll up finishes. He don't have a finisher, which is the cool thing about Gunther, but it's usually something that makes him look decisive, whatever it is.
Yes, he looks
powerbombed Sheamus, and then he powerbombed Drew on top of Sheamus, and then it's like, what? This dude needs to roll up Randy Orton?
Yeah.
That's exactly what I thought. I was like, huh? This is uncharacteristic.
Powerbombing him.
I think it was because they were in Saudi Arabia. I think that because they are the way they are with like the mainstream, the older stars. Like, I mean, look how they booked Gunther. Not Gunther. Look how they booked Goldberg against Bobby Lashley. Remember that where like Goldberg just killed all of the Hurt Business by himself. They book like that in Saudi Arabia. So I think that's why they were like, look, we need to have Gunther win, but they're gonna hate it if their established
if that's the case, they shouldn't have had Randy Orton get to the finals.
I agree.
If that's the case, they should have had somebody who they felt like it would have been beneficial for the Saudi audience to see get squashed, or at least get decisively win over.
Gunther should have squashed whoever it was.
Yeah.
I don't.
Gunther, man.
Yeah.
Overall, the match was all right. It was cool. It was underwhelming for me.
It was one of
I expected it to be
because of that.
Two reasons why I didn't like
every
two reasons
match
I
at
like
least
that
an
shit.
8. This is the only one that I've seen that hasn't been.
I was fast for saying this. I love Randy. Randy is in my top 10 of all time wrestlers, right? But when he came, he's like something is missing with Randy. Now I can't really get into it, and I feel like he's being elevated so high because of his legend. But he's still missing something that's making me interested in his matches. I don't care for his matches now for whatever reason.
And what were you about to say, Ted? You said 2 reasons you didn't like it.
Yeah, the finish and the way the crown. You know, like when they just Triple H just walk out. Here you go. You know what I mean? I thought that was like I remember them like walking down this aisle and then thought on a fucking throne, and then like they say a speech and shit. The Triple H is just like, hey.
I briefly thought about that. I was like, what's going on? It was a thought that came in my mind. I was like, oh, I remember when they used to have the throne sitting on the side, and they go down there, they put the robe on you. Put the king on you and let you sit on the throne with the scepter.
Didn't even fucking put it on. He just like held that shit like a helmet. Like, hey, I got it. I won.
I did briefly think about it. I was like, oh,
I think they should give him like a World War I, not World War II, but World War I, like old school Kaiser look. I think that would be cool.
Where's my armband?
Like his example, like for a king for him is like that kind of like war general. Thing. I think that would be cool.
Should have been crowning on Monday or something, where they could have made it more elaborate.
Yeah,
but that really kind of killed it for Nia too. Like that kind of killed it for me. Like watching Nia just kind of stumble with the crown. I was like, this should have been more epic. Like watching that dope match, and then seeing that kind of killed it. I mean, for me, it did. And speaking with the finish, so I give that a 7.
Rank it. I give it a 7. Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 7. 7.5.
All right. Speaking of Nia Jax, we got Nia's crowning against Lyra Valkyrie. So I disagree with you. I feel like this was good for Nia. I feel like Bianca's fine. Bianca's fine where she is. Bianca's doing her thing with Jade.
Yeah.
It's not that she's not fine. It's that you're putting a title match on in order to sell. You want people to come and see this big match. What do you think is going to put more butts in seats? Bayley versus Bianca or Bayley versus Nia Jax?
Yeah, but we've already gotten Bayley versus Bianca so much. They already feuded so much last year.
Not to be weird. I'm excited for Nia. This the way she's been like fucking people up. I'm excited for this shit. Like I really think it's her time. Like
I don't know.
Yeah, I think so too. Nia's been getting over in a way that she hadn't been getting over in her whole career. If this is the moment you do it, I wouldn't be surprised if they take the title off Bayley and put it on Nia at SummerSlam.
I think it's her time, man. I really think it's her time.
I wouldn't be surprised. WrestleMania to SummerSlam, that's a good little run for most.
Don't let her throw them bloodline ones up.
That'd be dope if she was the actual.
That'd be crazy. First
what?
Of all.
It's Nia?
That'd be crazy.
Baby needs to go away for a while. All the 4 horsewomen need to go away for a while and just, I don't know.
Maybe it's time for a new regime.
But it's been 10 years now for Bayley now?
Something like that. About
she can go away for a while. She won't be missed.
Close to it, about 7 or 8, I think.
Yeah, they all need to go away for just a little while.
Hey, what happened to Randy?
He'll be back. I think he just probably called this job or something.
But anyway, I think it's good for Nia. I think this the queen of the ring gimmick will fit her. She'll do good with that. And it's time. She deserved this push.
That finish, that white girl got me surprised. Like, I never really watched NXT. I don't watch NXT, to be honest. And it's like, she's like, she's dope, man. When she was pulling the shit out of Nia, like then she got sat on. Like, God, that was the dopest shit I've ever seen.
Yeah,
like,
it was cool.
Do that to everybody. It was dope.
It was cool. I felt like it went longer than it needed to. That was another one that Nia should have just whooped her ass.
Yeah, I like it. I like shit like that, like how they're portraying Braun Breaker. He's just fucking people up. I enjoy that shit. If it's believable,
yeah,
you know what I mean. But like, I don't know, like Braun Breaker should fuck up Ricochet. I don't know.
I'm curious how Braun Breaker going forward, because if he's how he is now, I wonder how they're gonna book him up until SummerSlam or in all these in the future. Because like he's booked like a monster, and I don't know. And it's like, how can I say this? Damian Priest, I like him as champion, but I don't know.
He just needs to just like you can just like on his
give
mic
him a couple more months.
A little bit more
months, and let's see what we're doing.
Just
we
slow
got
down.
the whole Judgment thing, Judgment Day storyline brewing a little bit. Let him cook for a minute. Then by SummerSlam, we could judge his run.
He got it, man. He just needs to slow down a little bit more on the mic.
We don't say that certain crickets give them a couple months, let them cook. When Roman won, we never said let them cook. Seth won, we never said let them cook.
They should have.
We never said those things, but like these other guys, for a while, let them cook.
Yeah, I'm saying that for everybody. I'm even saying that for Bayley, and I don't like Bayley.
What's her name? The other who did Bayley beat?
Oh, Io Shirai.
They did not let her cook. But she didn't have a match on SmackDown. I'm like, what the fuck? Where's she at?
She had that title for a minute. She had it long enough to where you could, could finally judge it.
She didn't wrestle. I saw Asuka way more than her.
Yeah,
it's too soon. When Roman won the belt, you mentioned Roman. When Roman won the belt, we didn't have to say let him cook. They was cooking from the point on.
When you got Heyman with you, man,
already like boom, boom, boom. Like you were anticipating Roman's title reign. Everybody else,
bro, Roman's not champion anymore. Get over it. You gotta
there he is.
Move on.
There he is. What's up? There he goes.
Yes.
But anyway, let's move on to the main event. The undisputed championship match between Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul. I'll start off by saying that I think that this match was better than the AJ Styles Cody Rhodes match.
Huh?
Yeah, I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think
I don't think neither one of them was 5 stars like Meltzer rated it.
Yeah,
but they were very good matches.
He rated what match 5 stars?
I think he rated the AJ Styles one 5 stars, didn't he?
Yeah,
he's a mark for AJ though. I'm a mark for AJ. That's not a 5. I don't know.
Yeah,
I watched it. It was fine. It wasn't a 5. Probably
when someone puts it up like that, I always watch it like this though.
They were both good matches, but the thing that holds them both back is any title defense that Cody does now, we know Cody's not going to lose. So I don't.
That doesn't matter.
No, it does. It totally does. I'm not that invested if I know what finish I'm expecting.
Sometimes that happens, and sometimes the match still ends up being a banger because of the storytelling that they tell in it.
It can, but it's hard. It depends, right? Because like I knew that Cody was going to win at WrestleMania, right? But that was a big culmination of a big story that I was waiting for. In this case, we just know that it's going to be a title defense and the champion's walking out still the champion. It's an underwhelming finish to know is coming.
I don't think that matters a lot.
Let me tell you something. Cody's title defenses aren't going to be as good till we at least see Roman's return. Until also we see that tease between him and The Rock.
His title defenses have been bangers. Don't get me wrong. He's had every one so far has been good.
But if you bet in person, you can also bet and say Cody's going to win. Cody's going to win. Cody's not losing up until.
That's true, but he's still putting on good matches. You can still enjoy those matches.
Roman's title reign was so long, you never knew if he's going to win or lose.
That is.
I think that motherfucker was never gonna lose. He was never gonna lose.
That wasn't always.
You thought he was gonna lose, bro.
I think there were.
You thought the Chief was gonna lose.
There were a lot of matches in his reign where I thought there was a good chance he could lose.
No.
There was only like 2 or 3.
His match versus Drew. I thought it was possible with his match versus Sammy.
That's one of them.
I thought that it was. I'm trying to think. Not Brock Lesnar, not the triple threat. Trying to think. There were.
I didn't think he was even
versus Jay
last year.
Besides the Cody matches, the only other matches that kind of sort of sold me
the other Cody match too.
I didn't think he was gonna lose. I knew he was gonna break that record.
The Jay match sold me a little bit. The Sammy one definitely sold me, and the John Cena one sold me a little bit.
John Cena wasn't gonna win the title.
They told the story well enough to where they got me a couple times.
He doesn't even wrestle there.
They got me a couple times.
Okay.
When they tell, that's the thing with me. When I'm invested in the match, and even if I think somebody's gonna win, if they tell the story right and they give you the finishes in a well enough manner, they'll get you on edge for a minute. Be like, hold on, if they really gonna do it, oh okay. Never mind.
I don't think he was gonna lose the title until the Usos lost the title. Like once the Usos lose, then he's in danger. And he did. The Usos held on to them shits forever.
They did.
Yeah. It's like, and even then, it's like they still might hold these shits.
Also,
back to this.
This isn't a Roman versus Cody thing because Cody just got the title. This was also true when
that's
Roman
what we were saying. That's what I was saying before.
It's always a Roman thing.
Let him cook.
Yeah,
let him cook.
Yeah,
always a Roman thing.
Every champion except Logan Paul, let him cook for a couple more months, and then we can judge him.
Mm-hmm.
Got to.
Logan's a great wrestler though.
No, it's just because he's been champion for a while now. That's what he's saying.
Yeah. You can judge Logan Paul's reign by now. You can say whether his reign's been shitty or his reign's been good. He's had it for long enough.
It has been good.
He had a good reign.
Yeah, it's been good.
I like what Cody says on the mic.
Literally every other champion in the company, you can't judge them yet. We can't judge them yet. They only had one in this, and for some of them, this was just their second defense.
I can judge the SmackDown Tag Champions. Like
I bet you can.
Yeah, has not been great so far.
But back to this match though. The Cody versus Logan. I felt like it was better than that AJ Styles match. It was, man. Logan Paul's the truth. I don't care what nobody says.
The build-up was funny. The build-up was hilarious.
Funny.
Yes,
the build-up was it was kind of exciting too. It's like I thought he was gonna get the U.S. title. Like, oh fuck, Cody's gonna win the U.S. title. And I was excited about that for a week.
When they decided that Logan Paul wasn't defending the title, that's when it became obvious. Like, okay, Cody's obviously winning now. So
there were two problems that I had, and another problem that we talked about in our chat earlier that I want to bring up to y'all, even though the niggas that said it ain't here. But the two problems I had with the match, and it didn't take away much from my enjoyment, but there were problems that I had with it. First of all, I had a problem with the little spot that they had when they were outside and they were about to count Logan Paul out, and Cody Rhodes rolled in there, and the referee was counting, and he stopped the referee before he got to 10 and was like, no, don't count. I don't want to win like this. Don't do it. And then he went back outside and started beating up Logan Paul. That whole little spot was dumb to me.
I agree. Like, the wrestler in the match shouldn't get to decide whether the rules get enforced or not.
That and it.
But if you roll back in, don't you get to stop the count?
I was getting to that, but I wanted to hear what Loveless was about to say.
That match no DQ or DQ.
That wasn't a no DQ match because it wouldn't have been a count out enforced.
Yeah, it was a regular match.
Yeah, and he was.
So how do people? You know what? I always noticed that Cody did, and I'm a Cody hater, so I'm going to pay attention. When he faced Brock Lesnar, he hit Brock Lesnar with the step. It was a DQ match. Then he hit Logan Paul with a prime juice bottle, and he didn't get DQ.
Come on, man.
Now we
juice bottle, man.
Yo, he's hating hard, yo.
But that was my point.
Like, he can't compete. He was hit with juice. Like, that's not gonna happen.
But that's what I was about to get to. What Asian Ted said. All he had to do if he really wanted to break the count was just go back outside.
Yeah,
he didn't have to do all that with the ref. The whole thing surrounding all that was stupid. Plus,
too much unnecessary drama. Like that. Yeah. Too much like I'm the fighting babyface corny thing that Cody likes to do. Like he wanted to do that because he wanted to do it for that. But like,
I get why he did it. It was stupid.
And yeah, it's no need. But I agree with you on that. I don't think it's a huge deal, but
it's not that big of a deal. But it didn't affect my overall enjoyment of the match. But I had a problem with it, and I kind of sort of, like I said, they're minor issues, but I kind of sort of had an issue with the finish a little bit because, like, okay,
yeah, I did too.
What's that announcer dude? What's his allegiance to all of this? To want to stop Logan Paul from doing what he did? Like, why? For what? Who is he? Who are you? Like Logan Paul said, who are you?
It would have been 10 times smarter if Corey Graves grabbed his leg instead. That Corey Graves would have made more sense. Based on him getting the Cole's face. It made no sense for that Saudi guy to do that. It made no sense.
You know what? I wouldn't have wanted him. I wouldn't have wanted nobody to do it, but I will agree that would have made a little bit more sense than what they actually did. I will admit that.
I think they're doing that because they want to build up to Logan Paul versus Pat McAfee, the two celebrity wrestlers.
Okay.
I think they're eventually going to do that. I agree. It's a little forced. I'm not really bothered by it in this case because, like, he's a face announcer, whatever. It's weird though because then like heels cheat all the time. Why didn't you get involved any of the other like millions of times? Like why is this the one time where it bothers you? But yeah, I mean, it's not a huge deal, but I do agree. Maybe it's a little forced, but if we get Logan Paul versus Pat McAfee, I think that's going to be a banger. So.
And the other thing that they talked about in the chat, do y'all think that the whole brass knuckles thing is getting kind of played out? Like it's starting to get to a point where I'm not gonna use the brass knucks this time. I'm really not gonna use the brass knucks this time, guys. And then all of a sudden his friends pop out with the brass knuckles, and it's like psych,
It's William Regal, man. That's William Regal, bro.
That like the brass knuckles will be Logan Paul's downfall. That's probably gonna be the story. That's gonna be the story. That's the downfall.
Just like with Spike.
Yeah, I think it also makes sense for his character because all the stuff that Cody said, like the imposter syndrome stuff, like you don't even see yourself as a real wrestler. That's why you take all these shortcuts, kind of thing. I like that being his thing. Like he doesn't even really fully believe it, so that's why he cheats. I kind of like that, and I think that they should keep it. Maybe it shouldn't always be the Nux. Maybe it should be just other forms of cheating to make it a little
brass
more surprise.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't really mind it. I like it.
But that match was cool. I give that match like an 8.
Yeah, I would probably agree 7 to 8 territory.
Yeah, I like the I like the spots that Logan did. Logan he's selling me. I'm sold on Logan, so I'm gonna say 8.
I say 7 for one reason. I really don't like the fact that Logan got 3 crossroads. Like why did he get 3? What did he do to deserve that shit? Like
that's Cody Rhodes' thing.
No, AJ got 1.
Also,
he did.
Another thing, I think the idea that he has to hit his finisher 3 times for it to work is dumb. And I think
he's not Brock Lesnar, he's not Roman Reigns. Why is Logan Paul like?
Yeah, exactly. Like
I mean,
yeah, Cody should.
That's the bastardization of finishers anyway.
Yeah,
you say that for Great Khali, you say that for fucking like giant motherfuckers or like big dudes, not for just Logan Paul.
For monster heels. Because he did it.
It got to a point. It got to a point when Brock Lesnar was wrestling that if you only took one F5, you were buried.
You know what? What I'm also forgetting that this is a Saudi Arabia show. This is like another WrestleMania over there.
Mm-hmm. So folks took about 10 F5s in a match, and sometimes they still lost. He still lost.
Yeah, no, that's true. And like, if Cody hits someone with 2 crossroads and doesn't hit the third, the guy just gets up, like Roman did at WrestleMania. He's just like that did not.
The third one that hurts, bro. It's the third one that just hurts real bad.
Mm-hmm. Right. Got to make sure you hit that third one. But that's overall good pay-per-view. Let's we still under an hour, so this shouldn't go that long. Let's go over to Double or Nothing AEW.
Okay.
I didn't watch those buy-in matches. I don't never watch AEW buy-in matches. The first match on the card was Roderick Strong versus Will Ospreay for the international title. What y'all think about that match?
Well wrestled match, but I knew Ospreay was going to win, so I didn't care about it that much. There was no suspense for me because, you wouldn't put Ospreay in this match to lose. I know he's going to win, obviously. So, and they're giving their new big star mid card title, and I always think that's kind of dumb, but. Whatever. Very well wrestled match with those two guys. Obviously, it's going to be a good match, but
it was cool.
Roddy Strong, but it's Roderick Strong. I said there's no way they're gonna lose to Roderick Strong. So it was
exactly. He's fighting a flunky for a faction. Obviously, he's going to beat him.
He's been a flunky for all four of his factions he's been
basically.
in. Yeah, so it was
it was cool. I don't think. I'm still not a fan of Will Ospreay as a lot of people are.
But you always gotta have the hot takes. You gotta have the disagreeable.
I don't like really good wrestlers.
Yeah,
wrestlers that can do anything.
I like
I suck.
I don't like Will Ospreay.
Will is growing on me, but this reminds me of 2016 AJ Styles at the Royal Rumble. I seen him compared to Roman. I said, "Wow, I like AJ, but he's small." So when I saw Will, I'm like,
"No more." He's big as shit.
Will
Ospreay, where folks rate Will Ospreay is what folks should be rating Ricochet, because Ricochet is the better wrestler of the two.
It's not. That's not true. Because
it's very true.
You hurt his feelings, bro. He started twisting.
Now,
Will Ospreay is overrated.
Listen here, Ricochet is basically only a high flyer. He doesn't do really anything else. If you watch Will Ospreay in New Japan, if you watch his matches with Okada or Takagi and them, he can sell. He can do great striking stuff. He can do great groundwork.
Ricochet is a great seller.
He wants to be. Ricochet just flies. That's his only thing.
No, he's really good.
Ricochet is a great seller. Look at those matches that he had with some of them bigs, like Brock Lesnar and them. When he's flopping all over the place.
I agree with that. He flops and sells well, but could you put him in a main event like you can with Will Ospreay? I don't think you can.
In AEW, you can.
Let me tell you this.
In Japan, you could have.
Against high flyers, because I think about the long game. Okay, you have to change your game after a while. Once those guys mid-30s, early 40s, they can't do those certain moves no more. Yeah, so Ricochet scared me like
Mysterio.
What is old Ricochet gonna do? How's he gonna elevate? Because he can't do shooting stars and all that stuff at knocking on 40 and all that. If it is gonna be an edge.
I think Will Ospreay will be in the same spot that Ricochet was in if Will Ospreay was in WWE.
You got to turn it to AJ. You got to turn it to AJ.
He can do that. Heavyweight and can wrestle like a heavyweight. He doesn't just fly. That's what makes him different.
I got to disagree with you, Big Ice, because Ricochet was only a junior champion in New Japan.
Yeah, they didn't even
elevated. Will grew past the Junior Cup division, so he was already.
Yeah, Ospreay became the face of the company. They never saw that in Ricochet. And Ricochet came
Most people did, though.
Not in New Japan, not in WWE.
Saw those Will versus Ricochet videos, but in rare form, I don't know.
Yeah.
Man, Will Ospreay is overrated, man. I don't see what y'all see in him.
You're overrated.
Your lists are overrated.
Getting like this. Come on.
You're
The next match on the card was the Bang Bang Gang versus Death Triangle. Was that Bullet Club Gold or whatever?
Yeah.
I'm giving it a 0 because Juice Robinson is back.
Why you be hating on Juice, man? Ain't nothing wrong with Juice.
Tony Storm, and I'm mad about it.
You always hated on Juice.
Yes, I did, and I will continue until they break up, and then I will respect him after that.
I got lower that match. I didn't know they were dating, so they kind of just crushed my heart.
Oh my god, y'all niggas are niggas. First off,
I feel like he's holding her back.
I don't have much to say about that match. It was a match.
You hear you hear what Cody said about what Tony Storm said? Because he was like during a press conference, she was like, "I would never run up to you and thank you after I won the belt." And Cody was like, "Yeah, she should have never brought up my name. She knows better. Tony should have talked to her." I was like, "That was the most gangster shit he could have said." He was like, "Tony should have told her, nope, can't bring up my name."
True.
And that was the end of that.
Burn bridges. Like, I don't understand them sometimes. It's like you don't have to speak on WWE because you never know.
Yeah, like you gonna want that paycheck one day, bro.
Yeah, no, it makes the company feel so small when they constantly get so defensive towards WWE.
It's like, hey, like, I'm with AEW, they cutting my checks, but I'm not gonna speak on WWE and vice versa. You never know.
I might need to go there.
All right, speaking of Tony Storm, we got Tony Storm versus Serena Deeb for the AEW Women's Championship. That was a fine match to me.
It was fine, but I mean, again,
at the beginning, kind of like choppy.
It was a little choppy at the beginning. They worked it out, but like, I mean, again, like nobody thought Serena Deeb was going to win. Serena Deeb's almost never on TV. Like, what was even the point of having this match? Like, give Tony Storm someone who's on her level. Why are they giving her jobbers for pay-per-views?
Who's on her level?
Really needs a tag division.
Who's on her level that they would have given to her right now?
Mercedes.
Mercedes was in the TBS championship match. They wanted to put that belt on her.
No, I know, but that's the problem, right? Like they bought this star and they're putting her in the mid card and they're giving their main event women's champion jobbers to fight. Like it doesn't make any sense.
Why would they give? So if you put them two together, it's a lose-lose. What you gonna do? Give Mercedes Moné the belt right now, or are you gonna beat her on her first match?
What I would have done was had Mercedes come in as a heel immediately because she's obviously going to be better as a heel. Have her just beat. They don't have to have a long feud with Willow. Just have her beat Willow in a showcase match, and then have a bunch of wins. Work her way up in the rankings.
But Willow's the champion. So what? You have her beat the champion in a non-champion match?
No,
Willow wasn't the champion when Mercedes came in. She won the belt later. First. They only
put TBS champion.
Julia Hart.
So you would have just kept the belt on her?
No.
Or I mean, Julia could have had her own feud with somebody else, but it didn't need to go to Willow just to go to Mercedes because it's a mid card belt.
Julie just to oblivion. Like, I don't know what she's at. What they should have did was Tony Storm could have lost the belt to Mercedes. They could have teased the feud with Tony and Willow and Stokely Hathaway's group. Sasha isn't a very good talker. I've been said they could have Willow up with that clique she's in. Stokely could have aligned with Mercedes, and then they never had a woman who's been the AEW champion, TBS champion. Tony Storm could have been the first of the women to hold both belts. Story writes itself.
No, why would you do that? Yeah, that's definitely overbooking.
He's a movie actor. The TBS is the TV title. Writes itself. There you go.
Okay.
No, man.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with what
Paige
they did
over there in AEW
because you put your stars in.
Or something?
You build up your stars slowly.
They booked her badly. That's what happened.
You put your stars. You kind of give them a slow burn up into that main run, and giving them mid card titles work.
They didn't
right
give
now
CM Punk
because you don't want
a title on his way up. Why do you think
that's because CM Punk is the biggest draw they ever had immediately?
John Moxley immediately captured their belt.
Jericho was the first one,
because he was their biggest draw at that time.
Exactly.
John Moxley, when he actually started.
When Moxley showed up, Moxley was their biggest draw. They did a lot of stuff at the beginning of the company because they needed to, because they were an upstart company. Do some shit, put people on in those title pictures that don't have no prestige. Put people that have prestige that can make those titles at first. Now they at the point to where they have stars that they can put in the main event, and then those stars coming in, they can run those mid-card divisions and eventually get up to the point to where they're mixing and mingling with those main event stars.
The problem is when you take someone and you put them in the mid-card, that's the perception you're giving the audience, that they're a mid-carder. You don't normally Like this.
No,
you
not
can,
always.
The way he said no.
No.
Nah.
It's generally true. When you take someone who's already the biggest star in your company in that division, you don't slot them into the mid card immediately, because then that's
Let me ask you a clarification.
audience.
Here you go, Brock Lesnar. Here's this hardcore title.
Yeah, exactly. Like, imagine Brock Lesnar winning the fucking European title.
You cutting out, Lovelace. I see you talking, but ain't nothing coming through.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
okay.
I can hear you.
Brock Lesnar comes to AEW, and he immediately goes for the TNT title or the international title. Would you feel away?
That's different. That's Brock Lesnar. Them niggas ain't Brock Lesnar.
Mercedes Moné is the women's division's biggest star immediately. She was in The Mandalorian. You put the world title on her.
Contract.
I disagree.
So Charlotte Flair,
she was in The Mandalorian.
Charlotte Flair,
how many people watch The Mandalorian versus who watch AEW?
I think they'll be all right.
If Bianca came to AEW, would you want her to go for the mid-card title?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same logic. You don't do that.
The first woman to ever main event WrestleMania, one-on-one match, goes for the mid-card title. Another promotion.
I think it's fine because they don't really treat that TBS title like they treat it like a big deal. From what I've seen,
I mean, when Jade had it, a little bit, but Jade's almost entire.
That's all I remember. I'm sorry. That's who I went back to. That's all I remember because I don't watch the products. So you might be right.
It was like 90% her squashing jobbers, and then Chris Statlander just showed up and took it. Like that's how they treat it.
And then what is Chris Statlander doing now? Nothing. They didn't. They should have elevated her when she beat Jay, but they didn't, which made no sense.
Well, we're gonna get a to be continued of what Chris Statlander's doing when we get to that match.
Like I said, you put Mercedes Moné immediately in the title picture, people gonna start complaining, especially that audience that they're catering to. They're gonna start complaining about her coming in straight into the title picture, taking it off of Tony Storm, somebody who's been there, who's been working it. Oh, they should have put it on this. So they should have made her. They should have made her work for it. They should have given her time.
She's a heel, though. It works with her character. It works with her character. She's a diva. That's her entire thing. I'm a diva. I'm better than everyone. Look at I'm the CEO. Look at all my jewelry. Look at all the money. Like walking.
That don't matter when you put. That don't matter. People still don't want to see people come in and go straight to the title picture.
And that's how we get situations where like mid-carders are world champion and world champion material people are mid-card champions, which AEW does all the time.
And WWE do the same thing when they have people come in. They rarely have people come in and go straight to the main title picture like that.
Because
AJ Styles didn't go straight into the title picture when he came. And he was the biggest free agent at the time.
It's not the same. WWE's the big company. AJ was a big fish in a small pond that moved up to a big pond. Mercedes is a big star moving to a small pond.
Yeah.
AJ was not the biggest star in the company when he walked in. He wasn't even close to it. Mercedes is their biggest women's star now, immediately upon walking in.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's fine.
Okay. All right, let's go to the next match.
Y'all didn't sell me. Orange Cassidy versus Trent Beretta.
It could have been on TV. It didn't need
to
be on the paper.
I checked out during this match.
Yeah, I didn't even.
Moving on, Chris Jericho versus Hook versus Shibata.
I'm giving this a fucking
for the FTW title.
I'm so sick of Chris Jericho. Everything that he's in is a zero, like just automatically. I'm so sick.
Hey, you hating, man? Why you
hate on the Lion Tamer? Man, why you hate on the?
They chanted in multiple matches of him, "Please retire." They told him to go away, and they keep shoving him down our throats. They had him bury Hook, who's supposed to be someone they're trying to build. Like it's just terrible.
When somebody finally beats Chris Jericho's ass, it's gonna get a pop.
It's not that kind of heel heat. It's go away heat. It's not the same. People don't want.
I have a
man. Even
this thing would go away.
Especially the NBA shit. Like people don't want to see him anymore.
Because how can you really tell the difference between heat and go away heat when it's all a motherfucker getting drowned in booze?
Do you think you can't tell a difference between how he gets treated and how Roman Reigns got treated?
Roman Reigns got mixed reactions.
No, but he got like actual.
But who's to say Dom ain't go away heat?
I don't know. Hey, when I go on,
that man gets the loudest boos every time he comes out.
Yeah, but you can tell. People consider him an entertaining heel act. They want to see him on the show to get beat up. They don't want him off the show. People want Chris Jericho off the show.
Yeah.
I've never been a full believer in go away heat because
Okay.
it's heat.
Okay.
Heels go on TV to get booed. You're gonna do whatever you do to get on TV to get booed.
Remember when Baron Corbin was all over Raw in like 2019 or whatever?
And I was a fan. I was a fan.
You were the only
of Corbin. Yes, I love Corbin. You can go. I wish Bones was on here. We all were fans, even on the Elbow Drop podcast. We all were fans of Corbin.
Okay, you guys are the only ones. He was fucking awful, and the fact that he was a heel does not make up for that. The show was unwatchable while he was all over it.
I fucked with Corbin because he was one of the true heels at that time that got real heat.
He got booed during the COVID audience, and there was no audience there. I don't know how that popped.
You can't give wrestling fans
and then
what they
the whole
want, though,
broken
man.
Corbin deal, that was some of the most entertaining TV at the time.
Wrestling fans suck, dude. You can't give these guys what they want all the time.
that broken Corbin,
you have to have real
heat
heat
when he
like
was
that.
walking around
Man.
dirty with no
Not to be fucked up,
shit. Niggas love that shit.
But they didn't capitalize on it though. They sent them to NXT.
That was Vince's fault.
It was just grown worthy.
It's when Drew kicked out of the fucking what's it called? End of days. That's when it was over for him. When Drew
exactly.
Kicked out. I would have been.
It was over for him way before that. It was
for me, as long as nobody kicked out of his shit, that'd be the dopest shit. You can retire never having a belt. You know what I mean? No one kicked out your shit.
He had two gimmicks. He had the Lone Wolf and he had broke ass Corbin. Those were the two times.
I remember broke Corbin. Sorry, that was kind of funny to me.
That shit was fire. We used to be in the chat talking about that shit all the time when his segments were coming out because that shit was gold.
Okay,
I like corny wrestling, man. I'm immature. So.
All right,
they just ruined it when he went to the casino and got big real quick. They ruined the whole thing.
That was bad too. That Happy Corbin was terrible also.
Yeah, Happy Corbin, they ruined it.
Mm-hmm. Right, next match we got Jon Moxley versus Takeshita.
Wrong winner.
Good match,
wrong winner.
Good match.
I think so.
I agree. Takeshita
best match on the card to me.
What?
It was eliminated.
Best match on the card to me.
They could
that I saw because I admittedly didn't get to finish the whole Anarchy in the Arena match, so I don't know about that.
It was a good match, but yes, it was the wrong winner. Takeshita was somebody who was supposed to be like a big heel for them, and then they just kind of dropped the ball. They put him on fucking Rampage and shit, and this was the chance to like give him something, and especially for a Japanese title, which makes sense for him because he's going to be going back to Japan at some point. And they dropped the ball and it didn't make any sense. Moxley has like 3 losses in his entire career. They could have given him one more.
When it comes to like,
I'll take your word for it because I haven't really been following their booking into all of this. So because I haven't really been watching the show much. So I'll take y'all word for it.
The big major feuds, he always lose them. So he always lose the blow-offs. And that could have been a feud where like it wasn't for what's they call it, the NJP or whatever. The eliminate, whatever they call it, AEW make up these weird names. And he could have beat him and they could have had a rematch and Moxley could have won. It could have been as simple as that, but just that's it. So that was a call.
Yeah. So
they're gonna make him lose in Japan.
Yeah.
That's where they want him to lose, to a Japanese dude in Japan. It's gonna be amazing. They're actually gonna clap.
As the match,
hell yeah.
Without knowing the backstory on the booking and everything, I enjoyed watching the match. I also like Moxley more than a lot of you niggas like Moxley.
I like Moxley a lot. I'm appreciative that you're one of the few people who seems to still like Moxley because I do still like Moxley, but I hate his like Hulk Hogan booking there. Like, because sometimes it's been really bad. Like when he beat Swerve in the Continental Classic. Like,
every year since he's been in AEW.
He's the man. Can't cancel the man.
The whole 5 years AEW existed, Moxley been a champion. Some kind of champion. AEW champion, GCW champion, what else champion? Any other indie champion he held?
He's basically that guy.
Yeah.
He's the guy that
he's been
they make put the company on his shoulder.
Yeah, and I'm fine with that. He does put the company on his back, so I get booking him strong. He does have the tough guy persona thing, and you do have to protect that. That's all fine, but you have to know when it's not the right time for him to win. And this was the second big time that I think that they've dropped the ball on that.
All right, so now let's get to the shit show. Edge versus Malachi Black.
Fucking 10. Fucking
what?
So good. It was
it was good, man. I can't even hate on that match.
It was, dude, bro, yeah,
it was nostalgic for me. It was nostalgic for me. Like when Gangrel came out, I said I knew Gangrel's gonna come. If anybody's gonna do it, AEW's gonna do it, and they did it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just so.
They give the chance what they want sometimes.
Bro, that shit was ass to me. Ass and overbooked.
You're ass and overbooked, bro. Like
it was too much. First of all, you had the unnecessary spot where he almost killed himself. And then aren't cage matches supposed to end when somebody gets eliminated from the cage and he got kicked out from the cage? And then the rest of the House of Black came out there and then they act like they was about to turn on Black, but then they didn't. And that shit was unnecessary.
Don't make logic with that. It was a barbed wire steel cage. There was barbed wire at the top of the cage. So I'm thinking realistically, they didn't expect you to escape the cage.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Right.
To be fair, Bobby, I don't think I'm trying to be fair.
Bobby, the idea of escaping the cage being the way to win is actually a pretty new WWE development. Cage matches historically have been pin or submission, but you can't. No one gets in.
That's not just a new WWE thing.
I remember that being a rule in WCW because there was a cage match, and for real, there was somebody climbing out the cage and Rick Steiner just got underneath him and he couldn't move him.
Okay,
they were pushing the shit out of Rick Steiner.
it started,
and it was a WWE thing in the 80s too.
In most
back in the day, it was climb out. It wasn't no pin. I thought it was.
Yeah, no, pin or submission cage matches are they go before the escape cage match.
Is that a TV thing? Is that a TV thing? Like if they started doing the escape thing when TV started coming a thing?
That might be.
I remember being pin or submission also.
Yeah,
in the cage.
I remember both.
That was first. Yeah, and that's the thing. AEW just had these rules, and they did say them at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So I
and most of the time it was pin, submission, or escape.
Yeah. I normally don't like them getting out of the cage or people getting in just because I feel like it does cheapen the cage. But in this case, it was worth it to justify Gangrel showing up.
No, it's corny when they open the door. I hate that shit. When it's like someone just walks out the door, it's like climb the fuck out.
Yeah.
I guess you give it a 10 because the person that came out made sense, huh?
Well, it did make sense. And that's the thing. You don't get to complain about overbooking when you were like, I love that match where The Undertaker showed up and The Rock showed up and fucking John Cena showed up. Like, you're talking about overbooking.
Because at that point in time, we were so you are so invested in the match and so invested in the finish that all of that shit is just fun.
At least in
this case, we went into the match. If you listen to anybody, what anybody said, if you listen to any podcast, anybody in the group, us, we wanted that match to be overbooked because, hell, we have been used to all the bloodline matches being so overbooked. So we were like, hell, this is going to be the finale. This is going to be Roman Reigns send off, make it as overbooked as possible.
But you don't get to complain that this is not more overbooked than that was. The people who came out made sense with
this. Was unnecessarily overbooked.
People popped crazy for Gangrel to come back.
The only thing I did like was I don't like how Gangrel, 54 years old, then took down Big Brody and Buddy Murphy.
I don't disagree.
He's a vampire.
He spit blood in their eyes first. They were caught off guard.
I'm like, he barely could move, and he taking down these big agile guys. I'm like, what the hell? But okay.
Well, like, blood in the eyes first.
Pressure points. Yeah, in the right, the perfect spot.
And then they're doing. It took me out because they're doing so much with the barbed wire. Like, bro, it's supposed to be barbed wire. You're supposed to be barely able to touch that shit.
They're trying to hurt each other, bro. Like, you don't get knocked out from barbed wire.
I'm not gonna take no barbed wire and wrap it around my hand and pull it on nobody's neck.
No, that's because you're not tough enough. Like,
I'm not tough enough. Let's see one of y'all niggas do it.
Fuck it. Bro,
well, that's how pro wrestlers fight, dude.
Like, they have
that's how they fight, man. They hurt themselves.
They have
first.
it. What I ain't never even seen McFoley do that.
Who hits somebody with a bat like this?
He usually gets knocked into the barbed wire, or he has the barbed wire already on the back coming out. I ain't never seen him just grab some barbed wire and use it on the motherfucker and put him in a submission hold using the barbed wire like it's fucking rope or some shit. It's barbed wire.
This is the evolution of
adrenaline, man. Adrenaline in the bones, man. You can't feel things when your adrenaline is pumping.
Y'all niggas.
Plus, they're small blades. It's not like they didn't actually do it. It's the same thing when we were talking about that guy who was just like, it's not realistic Sasha could pick up Chris Statlander, but even though she did it.
And this is terrible coming from you because you like to use logic in the most stupidest ways, in the most we have to
But that's my point though. He actually did it. He picked up the barbed wire and didn't like die. So it's not unrealistic. He literally did do it.
The adrenaline, man.
Because it's not real barbed wire.
That was real barbed wire, bro.
Hold on. You said the craziest comment
That was not
I've
real barbed wire. That was
you use logic in the dumbest ways. What the fuck is that?
That was, dude. Like, look how much they were both bleeding all over their bodies. That was real barbed wire,
nigga. Because they played.
They probably grabbed the port. They probably grabbed the wire port, not the barbed port. I don't know.
Yeah, he was rubbing the barbed wire on.
That's crazy. Knowing that there's been gimmick barbed wire, knowing that McFoley has admitted to have his shit being gimmick barbed wire, and it's still blood, it's still gore.
He's
the same company at the barbed wire explosion match, so yeah.
Mick Foley has also used real barbed wire. He has in the match with Triple H. Triple H used fake wire, but Foley used real wire. So he has used real wire. Real wire does get used.
This is crazy coming from you, but moving on. Mercedes versus Willow for the TBS title. Obviously, the right person won. Yeah. It was a pretty good match.
I thought it was a very good match. I think Monet probably was the one carrying it. She was probably the one leading the match, and I thought the psychology of her going after the ankle and all of that. I thought that was really well done. I liked the match. I would give it an 8. I mean, again, predictable winner does kind of spoil it a little bit. And the whole booking problem of her being in this position in the first place.
At the same time, she might want to be in the mid card because, like, I don't know, like she's trying to put these girls over. And she's had her time.
Yeah, but if you're a booker, you don't just let it. You don't. It's the same thing with Bryan Danielson, right? Like,
it's a waste. I get it.
Yeah, if you have someone who has star power, you maintain it. Like, even if they don't want to, you make them.
All right, Vince.
Even if they don't want to, you make them. Yeah, that's crazy.
Dang, this dude's a businessman.
Yeah,
no feelings, bro.
Think about how much more money they could have gotten from.
I'm just saying that's the only way I really see like why like maybe she wanted to be there. I'm not saying that she did, but I can see that being a possibility.
Maybe
like she doesn't want the belt. Like I don't need the belt right away. Let me just play with the mid card one.
Yeah,
like but then I might just leave tomorrow.
But then before she gets to the world title, she has to lose this one, which means you have to have her get a loss. And you didn't have to put yourself in that position. She could have just stayed undefeated to get to the world title.
She does have a record of just failing,
have to stay under. No, every star don't have to come in and go on an undefeated streak.
But she's a scary person to put on that belt because she might leave. You know what I mean? Like she did it.
Mercedes Moné might be their biggest star, but she can lose believably. She's not Jade Cargill. She's not Asuka.
She doesn't have to be a monster, obviously. I'm not saying that. They can be competitive matches, but if you make her just one of the other people, you dilute this person who can be your top star immediately. Like
I don't know, man.
If you have like mid-carders beat, like if fucking like Layla Hirsch or whatever beats Mercedes Moné, then what is Mercedes Moné at that point? You know, like she's not who she was when she walked in.
Hold on, wait. Didn't she leave WWE with the tag belts?
To be the next girl in the company. Like, don't just have somebody beat her. Just how when Jade Cargill lost to Chris Statlander, now she just in the win.
Yeah, exactly.
To be strong at that point. When she beat Jade beat Thunder Rosa and everybody else. Former AEW Women's Champions. Now
she became a regular woman at that point, right? Because she had been booked to be so strong. That was important for her presentation.
But hold on, wait. Didn't like
TBS matches were more and must watch to see the at that point.
Ted, what were you going to
say? That's what I was saying at the beginning.
She's a scary person to put a belt on because didn't she leave like WWE twice being champion? And like you're gonna put your big belt on her?
No, yeah,
she might bounce. She might bounce on you with she might pull a CM Punk, and then both of your undisputed champions are in WWE. You know what I mean? Like they don't really technically they don't have a champion. Like their interim champion doesn't count.
Under contract.
CM Punk
been a champion longer than 3 months. Never ever, not in New Japan, not in Raw, not in WWE. She's never been a champion longer than 3 months. So I'm interested in how long she will be champion in AEW. She's never been a champion longer than 3 months.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
I think in AEW it makes more sense to keep her the champion longer because in WWE you also had like Becky, Charlotte, fucking like whoever, like women that were at Bailey, Asuka, women that were at the same level as Sasha. Now she's so far above everyone except Toni Storm, kinda, and like that's it. So she should be the champion for a long time.
All right. Moving on, still 2 more matches. We got Swerve and Christian Cage for the AEW World Title. How y'all feel about that not main event?
I gave it a 7.
I mean, I don't love the booking of Swerve as the world champion. I feel like he's been kind of treated as like an upper mid carder, similar to like a WWE when Punk or Styles was the champion or Kofi was the champion kind of situation. And I think that's annoying. That being said, if it was going, I don't think it should have been Christian because we knew Swerve was going to beat Christian. I think Swerve should have been involved in the big main storyline. But if we're going to have Swerve versus Christian, it probably wouldn't be the main event over Anarchy in the Arena. But that's kind of the problem in the first place, is that they booked Swerve to feel like an upper mid-carder to the point where you want to see something.
I am of the opinion that the main belt should main event the show 95% of the time.
I agree.
Drop the ball, man. I was pissed off with Swerve. This is what they should have did. They should have made, when Eddie Kingston got injured, Swerve should have aligned with the other guy. Swerve should have helped the Elite One. I hate the Elite One that match clean. Swerve, they would have elevated Swerve championship far more because he's with the Young Bucks now.
Well, they paid off Christian to like rip his hair out and like pull his grills out and shit. Why would he help them now?
Because that's Swerve. They shouldn't have
no.
With that being said,
because of wrestling.
Yeah, I don't watch AEW. That's my problem. But that would have made more sense to align with the bad guy, help elevate him.
Not align with the people that paid for you to get your ass whooped.
I didn't know that. Now, yeah, I need to watch you, I guess.
Yeah,
I still think that Swerve and Christian should have main evented. It would have been all right. The Anarchy in the Arena, it was wild enough that it could have been one of those matches that you put, right before the main event or a couple matches before the main event to kind of steal the show. Put another match in between there and then main event with your main title match.
The problem is with Anarchy in the Arena is the ultimate overdose match. It's the ultimate excess match. Like they had someone get set on fire. You can't just put a regular wrestling match on after that. Like it just feels dumb. Like at that point, just like I don't care. I literally saw a man get set on fire. I saw a man get super kicked with thumbtack shoes while he was dangling. I saw a man attempt drowning. Like you can't just put on a regular.
We've had matches like that in the middle of the card before on AEW.
Yeah, but I mean that's why they don't do it anymore, because it felt weird. It does feel weird to watch a regular, like, people do rest holds after that.
And it's like
I don't agree, because if that's the case, then TLC should always be the main event or something like that.
It's not as gross as those matches.
No, you can't.
Health risk. It's a health risk.
Also, yes, like he said, we've seen tons of TLC matches. Anarchy in the Arena goes so far above like anything that's on TV.
It's a health risk, man. You
What
can't have people wrestle in there after that shit. That's gross.
Yeah,
you like see MJF what they have to wrestle after that cage, after that barbed wire cage match? It's the same shit.
That's true. Yeah, I mean that's it. I don't think.
Don't blame me. That's Tony Khan shit.
I don't think.
I want to put it like that, bro.
Bobby, I agree that the World Championship should be the main event. I think that you could have made that make sense by not having it be a regular wrestling match with Christian, who we knew wasn't going to win.
If you would have also title match, they already had enough. They already had enough.
But if they would have wrote itself,
no DQ matches and all that stuff, you don't want to overbook your card with so many stipulation matches.
I think they could have. What they should have done was had Swerve be on Team AEW. Since
that's what I said exactly, yeah. And Christian could have been over there because, like, we knew Christian wasn't.
No, because then you create the problem that we've admittedly complained with WWE about before, of having your world champion in some other match.
But that's their big storyline right now. What they're doing now by him not being in it is they're undermining him. Like, remember when The Miz was WWE champion while Cena and The Rock was going on? That it's like that, right? Like you have the big storyline that's getting all the main attention, and then your world title is underneath that. If you put him in the storyline, and they already kind of are, because the Bucks did fuck with Swerve, then Swerve is in the thing. If he's leading Team AEW, he feels like the main character of the show.
I disagree because then you're gonna ask, why ain't your world champion defending his title on the show?
On the line.
We did. Why would you put it on the line in a match like that, in a multi-man match like that? That don't make sense, Loveless.
They did that with Becky Lynch versus Baron Corbin and with the Venture Genter tag match. It would make
that shit was stupid too. That shit was stupid then.
It was very stupid. That match in particular, not that idea of putting the belt on the line, but that match was definitely stupid.
Yeah, that match.
The idea of putting the belt on the line in a multi-man match like that, in a tornado tag or something like that, is dumb.
Young Bucks was champion. And
that's how David Arquette became WCW champion. That shit is dumb.
Young Bucks was champions and Okada. They didn't put their titles on the line at Double or Nothing. They could have simply said whoever loses that match gets pinned. They lose their title as well. Swerve.
No. that is retarded. That is dumb booking.
Oh.
I mean, I don't know what Swerve should have went on last. I agree with that, but
yeah, Swerve Swerve should have just went on last. They would have been all right having Anarchy in the Arena as the third, as like third to last match.
Title in a predictable match after someone gets set on fire, bro. Like, no, it would feel so underwhelming. It would feel so underwhelming. Nobody would care. It
don't matter. We've seen bangers go on in the middle of the card before in AEW and WWE. Shit happens.
But that's not good.
There's never been a problem with that. I've never had a problem with a big hardcore match in the middle of a WWE card. I've never had a problem with it.
I mean, look at like WrestleMania when we had Rocky Hogan and Triple H and Chris Jericho had to follow it, or like the 25 with HBK and Undertaker, and I don't even remember what followed that. That's the main event.
A lot of those matches didn't take place in the ring. You know what I mean?
Like sometimes it happens. You got to go out and put on a better banger than that, and you don't put it on immediately after that match either.
Mm-hmm.
When you get
that's why WWE, what they do in recent times, they'll have a fucking Hell in a Cell match in the middle of the card, and then they'll follow that up with the women's tag team title match
Yeah, but it feels lame.
And then you get to the main event because the crowd has calmed down from that big match that you just did.
Yeah, but I get the logic behind that, but either way, you're still burying the world champion because
no, you're not, because the man in that instance the world champion's in the main event.
They are. What do you think they're talking about? Do you think they're going to be talking like, damn, that Swerve Christian match? Are they going to be saying, damn, I saw a dude get set on fire? What do you think people are going to be leaving that stadium talking about?
They're going to leave the stadium talking about it either way.
Sting's friend set somebody on fire.
If it was the first match, if it was the middle match, if it was the main event, so what? But at least you're protecting the integrity of the main event. Even if you leave the match with that as a lasting impression, you still going on with that last match as your main event. You as the company saying, okay, this is the marquee match. This is our guy. This is our world champion. This is our world championship. This goes on last. There's only like a couple of instances where I was like, okay, this makes I would rather see this match as the main event. The one match that I can think of that was like, okay, we'll do that was down in NXT with what's the name? The two Fight Forever niggas.
Gargano and
Ciampa.
Yeah, but that's the thing, right? Like that should have been for the world title because they were the main characters of the show. The world champion should be the main character of the show, but you can't just tell the audience that. You have to demonstrate that it feels like it. Like the audience has to buy into it. So you can't just take the world champion, put him at the end, and be like, "See, he's the main character." Because if you don't, because people, that doesn't mean people are going to buy it. You have to present it in a way where he actually feels like it. And the way to do that in this case is put him in their big storyline, which is the shit with the Bucks and Okada.
I disagree because you're putting your champion in something else. Like
they had the tag team champions, and Okada is the continental champion.
Yeah, exactly. Like they had.
It don't matter who cares about those championships. We're talking about the world champion. You don't put your world champion. Niggas raised hell because they put because Big E was the WWE champion and they put him in a random tag team match at the beginning of the card.
War game.
I agree. They should have given him the biggest program on the show to be in.
War Games is different because War Games is War Games.
Why is it different?
Why is that?
Because that was the whole bloodline story. The whole Roman Reigns' whole reign was a fucking storyline within a storyline within a storyline. So that makes perfect sense.
He was the world champion in a multi-man match. That was the big match of the show. He didn't defend the title, but it was
War Games. It was the gimmick match of the show. So you always expect War Games to main event War Games because
nothing at
War
all.
Game.
What's the difference between this and Anarchy in the Arena? Anarchy in the Arena is
because Anarchy in the Arena ain't the double or nothing match.
It is. It has been
it's not.
3 years.
Yes, it is.
The past 3
years.
Since when? The past.
I guess it's been that long. I guess it's been that long since I watched AEW, and that's why we don't talk about AEW on the show. Shut the fuck up.